everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be my Shop My Stash. So I do my Shop My Stash series every single month. So today I'm going to be going over the products that I chose out for the month of June, how they worked out for me, if I'm decluttering anything out of my Shop My Stash bag for the prior month, and then I'm also going to be showing what I am putting in my Shop My Stash bag for the month of July. As always, make sure to check back tomorrow. That is going to be a get ready with me featuring the products that I did choose out for July. I post that the first Friday of every month, and then the day before is when I'm kind of doing my recap video and then also the new picks. So we do have a lot to get through today. Why don't we go ahead and get started. I did want to say that I just got done filming a lip swatching video, so if you notice some strangeness happening on my lips, it's because I just filmed 11 lip swatches. That video went up on Tuesday. It's on the Charlotte Tilbury Hot Lips 2 collection, so if you want to see some lip swatches, I will link that video down below. I like to wear a lot of what is in my Shop My Stash bag when I do this kind of recap video, and so I was going to take off this lipstick and put on one of the lipsticks that was in my bag, but honestly the thought of doing that, I just really didn't want to, since I've taken off 10 lipsticks in a row, so we're just gonna roll with it, but thought I would throw that out there right away. I've been having so much fun with my Shop My Stash series. I feel like I've been saying that every single month, and it was interesting to me because I also just recently posted my Project Pan update video, or a check-in video. I'm doing a 9 in 2019 Project Pan, so I have 9 products that I'm trying to pan, trying to use up, you know, just trying to use really consistently. And I mentioned in that update video that I felt like I wasn't doing as well in this check-in versus my March check-in, and I said I think it's because I'm utilizing my Shop My Stash bag so much. I always have this bag out next to me. This is basically what I take traveling whenever I go anywhere. So I was out of town last week, Thursday through Saturday. I just grabbed this bag. If there's anything else I feel like I need to throw in there, you know, I'll just add it into this bag. But basically I just take what's ever in here because I have a product in every category. It's super easy. I don't have to think about it. So I was like, oh man, I need to do a little bit better on my Project Pan. But I just thought that was interesting because I've been having the best time doing this series. It's been so much fun. But with that said, jumping into it, I'm just going to kind of go through the bag here, the products that I chose out and how I got on with them. So my eyeshadow palette for the month was the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream palette. If you guys didn't guess, I used this so much throughout the month of June. I'm going to put in some photos here of different looks that I did with this palette. But I used this one so consistently. I really enjoy this eyeshadow palette. I love the tones in here. I love the different shades. I think the eyeshadow formula is so nice. The mattes are pigmented yet buildable. They're not too much. They just build up so nicely, so easily. They're very easy to blend out. The shimmers are really beautiful, and I just love the shade selection in here. I use this palette so much. It was funny, I can remember getting a comment, and it was kind of towards the beginning of the month, that was like, wow, you're really wearing berries and cream a lot, huh? And I was like, it's in my Shop My Stash. You know, that's why I keep reaching for it. I want to do as many looks as I can and just get a lot of use out of it. I've also been kind of feeling eyeshadow palette fatigue as of recently. I just haven't been as like motivated or excited to purchase new palettes or even go into new palettes. So I think that really factored into it too, and how much I use this palette. I do have it on my eyes today. I first went into Soft and Sweet, which is right here, and now has like a considerable dent, like dip in the middle of this pan, and I put that all over the lid, and then I just added a little bit of chocolate mousse and blended that out with a smaller brush on the outer part. That's it. I have some Sweet Cream, this light matte shade, as my inner corner and brow bone highlight, and then I just have those 2 brown mattes smudged on my lower lash line. That is it. I've done really simple looks with this palette. I've done a little bit more complicated looks. I've done kind of in between. I think I've used every single shade in this palette throughout the month, some of them multiple times. The only thing I will say that I was kind of bummed about is that it did not fit into my bag. So when I wanted to travel with this, I couldn't put it nicely into this bag like I could everything else. So I either had to take it as a standalone, or sometimes this didn't come with me when I was traveling, and I would do my smaller travel palettes because this one is so big. So that was kind of the only downfall of this one, but clearly I got a lot of use out of this palette. I really had a fun time with it in the month of June. Okay, so moving on, what I have on my face today actually is the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow Instant Soft Focus Beauty Flash. So this is a primer from Charlotte Tilbury, and I just think that it's beautiful. I wear this as like a standalone product quite a bit, or I'll use this and just a little bit of concealer, or this and a little bit of powder. Today I just have this and a little bit of concealer on my face, so I don't have any foundation on, but it is so beautiful. It just gives the skin this really nice glow, this really nice radiance, but it's not too much, especially in the warm months where my dry skin gets a little bit combo, like in my T-zone. it's not too much. It doesn't make me look oily at all. It's just a nice healthy glow to the skin. I think that this is really beautiful. I've gotten so much use out of it, and I did reach for it quite a bit in the month of June. The concealer that I chose out that I have on my face today is from Cover FX. This is the Power Play Concealer. I have reviewed this one on my channel, and I said that I've liked it, but it wasn't an absolute favorite, and I still feel that way at the end of using it really consistently throughout the month. I kind of went back and forth and like, okay, if it's not an absolute favorite, do you still want to keep it in your collection? Like, this is an opportunity to declutter, but I still like it enough that I want to keep it around. Just because it's not an absolute favorite of mine doesn't mean that it's a fail or I think it's a bad concealer. You know, I have it on my under eyes today. I like it. It's not the most full coverage concealer I've ever tried, but it blends out pretty well. It's kind of like this nice mix between a more hydrating concealer and a more like matte concealer. Like it's just kind of like in the middle there between the two, and I think that it looks nice. It's not as full coverage as I prefer in a concealer, and it just kind of, I feel like I have other concealers that make my under eyes just look a little bit better, but I still like it. I still think that it does a good job, so I am going to keep around my Cover FX concealer. I did grab out a foundation. This one here is from Dior. This is the Backstage Face and Body Foundation. My shade is 2.5N. I really do like this. I feel like I really like this with my Milk Hydro Grip Primer, because the Dior, I also wouldn't consider this an absolute favorite foundation because it breaks up on me quicker. It has a little bit more of a lighter coverage to it. It's a really thin, kind of more watery formula, and I just noticed that it can break up quicker. So I like to pair it with a more gripping primer like that Milk Hydro Grip, and also use like a pretty good, what am I trying to say, loose powder, which is the powder that I chose out for this month. That's kind of how I like to use my Dior, but it just gives such a beautiful natural finish to the skin. But again, it's almost like a little bit of radiance to it, but it's not overly dewy or anything like that. But again, it is a very like light to medium coverage. I really don't think you can get full coverage out of the Dior, but that's okay for me because I prefer a medium or medium to full foundation. But in the summer, I kind of go down a little bit, and so I like the light to medium. I still think that it looks really nice on the skin. I just kind of do a little bit less products in the summer. I'm outside quite a bit. It hit 100 degrees in Iowa over the weekend, so I don't like to have like full coverage, a ton of makeup, ton of creams, ton of powders on my face like that. So the Dior was a good choice for June. I did get a lot of use out of this, and I still quite like it. I like that I was able to find how I really preferred wearing that one with the correct primers and the correct powders. But speaking of the powder, I had pulled out the Milk Makeup Blur and Set powder. So again, I really liked using this with the Dior to kind of just set the foundation in place. I would typically use this with a damp sponge, and I would kind of do that like rolling technique onto the skin to kind of like just kind of press the powder in there without like making it too much of just straight powder on my face and like feeling really heavy. I like to use a really damp sponge and kind of press and roll onto the skin, and I felt like that would help the Dior as well. But the Milk Makeup is a really nice setting powder. I have two different shades. The one that I chose out for June was the translucent medium because the light is, you know, obviously more light. So I feel like the medium was a good match for my skin. I like this one. I feel like it's a really nice setting powder. It does really blur out like pores on the face, which I do appreciate as well. And there was a lot of times where I would just wear the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow, maybe just a little bit of concealer, but then some of this powder because it kind of helped blur, and then I could take the light and use the light powder on my under eyes or on the center of my face, and I thought that looked really nice as well. And it was kind of a nice balance to still have like a powder that was making my skin look nice, but it wasn't too much makeup, if that makes sense. But still really happy with my Milk powder. One of my favorite palettes, one of my favorite travel palettes is the Smashbox Cali Contour. This one got so much love from me this month. It was kind of crazy, but this is just such a nice palette. You have a nice mirror in it, which definitely comes in handy. So you have a contour, bronzer, a setting powder, a blush, and two highlights in the middle. The only thing that I don't like about this palette is the highlights. I very rarely go into the highlights with this one, but that's just a personal preference. This one is a little bit too deep on me, and I don't mind that one, but it's just not a favorite of mine. I actually have the setting powder over the Cover FX today. I decided to use the setting powder. I think that it's quite nice. I really enjoy the contour, the bronzer, and blush is what I have on my face today. But this palette, I've talked about it so much on my channel. I think it's fantastic. I knew I was going to be doing a lot of traveling in June, so I just figured this was just really like an all-in-one palette for me. I can get so much done with it, and it's still nice and small and compact. I didn't have any issues fitting it into my bag, and it's just a great palette all around. The highlight, since I don't really enjoy those highlights in the palette, I chose out Nars Fort de France, so that is the highlight that I have on my skin today. I'm a big fan of these Nars highlights. I like them because they can be a little bit more on the subtle side, but you can also build them up. If you want more of an intense glow, you could spray your brush beforehand, and you can still kind of manipulate the powder to be how you want it. So, you know, some days I wanted a subtle highlight, so I could just, you know, very lightly dip my brush in here, use more of a fluffier brush, and still get like a glow from within. And then there was times where I would use, you know, maybe a more dense brush like the Sigma F03, you know, really get some product on there, maybe spray my brush or spray my face before putting the highlight on, and that would help intensify it a bit. So Fort de France and Capri are two of my favorite highlights from Nars, and still a big fan. I felt like this month was a pretty good month. There's definitely been other months for my Shop My Stash that I've decluttered quite a bit. Moving on, I do have another eye product that I grabbed out. This was from Kathleen Lights, part of the Zodiac pigments that she came out with Colourpop. This one is in the Scales. This is such a cool color. I'll definitely link my Get Ready With Me that I had from last month using all these products in my Shop My Stash. So I used this with the Berries and Cream palette, and it created such a cool eye look. I was really a fan of that. I think the Scales is so pretty. These pigments are fairly easy to use from Colourpop. I definitely recommend, you know, of course, like using them wet and kind of using more of, I kind of had like more of like a plastic tip brush that I was using in that video, and I just think it's so pretty. The Scales is definitely, from the three that I picked up from the collection, is kind of the one that I would gravitate towards the most, because it's this beautiful pink, but it has this really cool shimmer to it. It's just such a cool shade. So I was really happy to get some more use out of my Colourpop pigment throughout the month. And then let's see, I had my eyeliner. I just always like to grab out an eyeliner just to have one in the bag, again, for travel purposes. This is from Flower Beauty, the Vinyl Eyes Glossy Gel Eyeliner in Purple Quartz. I do have it on my waterline today. I think that it's a fine eyeliner. I got some of these from Flower Beauty to try out. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite eyeliner in the world, but I thought it was fine, and it was fun to have a purple one to be reaching for throughout the month. My brow pencil was from Karity. This is the Brow Goals Brow Pencil. So you have the pencil on one side, and it's more of like the Goof Proof from Benefit. You also do have a powder in the middle, which I really never use. I have a few brow pencils that feature that. I really don't use that. And then you do have your spoolie on the other side. This is what I have in my brows today. When I first started trying this, my shade is Totally Taupe. When I first started trying this, I really liked it. I really enjoyed how my brows looked with it, and I've used this incredibly consistently throughout the month of June. I mean, definitely my most used brow pencil. It's kind of the point in my Shop My Stash bag. And I've noticed as I've been going through that it's almost just like harder, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's harder for me to do my brows. Not that the product got harder, but it was almost like instead of having that really defined teardrop shape, it just kind of got like bigger and thicker, and I found it harder and harder to do my brows as the month went on. With my Benefit Goof Proof, which also has more of that teardrop shape, it definitely gets, you know, not as sharp once you use it, but I didn't felt like, I don't feel like it got to the point where this one did. And I also noticed throughout the month I was getting more and more comments on like, girl, what's wrong with your brows? And I was like, it's because I'm kind of starting to struggle with my Karity brow pencil. So that's just something that I wanted to point out, because I feel like, you know, definitely when I first started using it, I was really liking it. I felt like I had a good handle on it, and it's just like almost as I got it more, I wish I could get it back into a more similar shape, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it around because I don't mind it, and if I'm like doing my brows fast and quick and I you know, I'm not being too precise, I don't think that it's a bad thing, but it's definitely not like a favorite, and it was just something kind of interesting that I noticed, so definitely wanted to point that out. The mascara that I was using and that I do have on my lashes today is from Catrice. This is the Print a Volume Smoky Mascara in Velvet Black. Typically at the end of my Shop My Stash, I do go ahead and declutter my mascaras, and that's what I'm going to do here. They do have a very short shelf life, and a lot of times my mascaras have already been open for, you know, a handful of months at least, so then using them consistently through the month, that's kind of when I try to go ahead and declutter them. I like to send my wands to Wands for Wildlife. I will have them linked down below, and I'm trying to think of how many I have right now. I think maybe I have like 4 or something. So you know, once I get up to like a certain pile, then I just go through, clean all the wands. I know I had someone ask me how I clean my wands. I just kind of use warm water first to get the extra mascara off, clean it with soap and water, and then disinfect it with alcohol. That's what I do for mine. If you guys have other suggestions, you know, definitely let us know in the comments, but that's where this one is going to go off to. I didn't really like love this mascara, and I kind of grabbed it just to be able to use it up. I mean, you can see on my lashes today, like, they look fine, they look nice, but I think I just would want something maybe with a little bit more volume. Like, I like the length of this one, and it's interesting because this is supposed to be like a volumizing mascara, but I don't really see like the volume, like the oomph there. I see more for the lengthening. And I noticed throughout the month, like if I was going to be going out and I wasn't going to be wearing false lashes, which I don't do a ton, but especially if I was going to be going out with friends, I was grabbing other mascaras that just gave me more lashes versus this one. Or if I was just having a day where it was like a more chill day or something like that, that's when I would go ahead and use this mascara. So not a favorite of mine. Catrice is more affordable, but I didn't absolutely love this mascara. I didn't get a lot of transfer with it, which is nice, but I still just wanted like a little bit more oomph to my lashes. But this one is gonna go ahead and be decluttered like I normally do in these Shop My Stash videos. My spray, this is from Urban Decay. This is the Chill Makeup Setting Spray. This is like almost nothing, and I think I mentioned that either in the Shop My Stash video from last month or the Get Ready With Me. I can't remember which one it was, and I was like, I'm really sad. I'm gonna have to go out and buy another one. I really like the Urban Decay setting sprays. I think that they're great. I really like the chill one. I really think that it helps keeping your makeup in place, especially through super hot weather and the Iowa humidity and all of that. And I was like, I really don't want to run out of this. And then I just actually got from Urban Decay their new like summer solstice makeup setting spray, and I was like, what great timing, because I was really sad to lose an Urban Decay one. But so I'm very excited about that. I'm definitely gonna be using that, but I just have a couple uses left out of this one, and then it's going to be ready to be decluttered. But Urban Decay has some pretty fantastic setting sprays. And then lastly, I just have my lip products. So my NYX Nude Beige Lip Liner. I mean, I have used this quite a bit. You can see that it's been sharpened quite often. It's just a really nice nude lip liner. I like it, and it's fine and dandy, but I do feel like it's kind of dry. Like I feel like I kind of have to really press hard and drag it across my lips, which isn't an absolute favorite of mine, but I'm still gonna go ahead and keep it around. I feel like I've gotten some good use out of it, so I'll go ahead and keep that one also. And then we have the Milk Makeup Lip Color in Cream. This is one of my favorite lip colors. I think that it's so beautiful, just a nice nude pink, and I really like this formula more than the new lip color formula, so I'm still gonna keep around my Milk Makeup until I can't use that one anymore. My poor Ofra lipstick really got dirty this month. I don't know what happened here, but I chose out Pasadena. It's a really beautiful like rosy mauve. I love the Ofra Cosmetics liquid lipsticks. I think that they're a great formula, and Pasadena, like, I'm a big fan of mauve, so a big fan of that lipstick. And then my Buxom, I grabbed this one out because I felt like I was getting pretty down there, and I still feel like, even though I can see like separation down here, I still feel like I have some, you know, fairly solid uses out of this one, so I'm gonna keep going. This one is in White Russian. I think it's beautiful. I like to pair it with that NYX lip liner, but it just gives a really nice gloss lip look to the lips. It makes your lips a little bit fuller, and I like that it stays on for quite some time. So I'm a big fan of these Buxom lip polishes, especially White Russian is a beautiful shade. So not a whole lot that I got rid of this month. I felt like there was a lot of products that I really enjoyed, but I hope that you enjoyed my reviews on them now that I've used them really consistently for a whole month. And if you'd like to see what I picked out for July, why don't we go ahead and jump into that. Alright, so I've gone ahead and shopped my stash already for the products that I will be using in July. It is crazy to me that it's already July, Whew, yeah. It's kind of sad to me though. It's like you feel like summer's already almost over by the time July comes, and it's like, how does this even happen? But okay, let's jump into it. So the products I'm going to be using for July. The primer that I decided to choose out is this one here from YSL. This is the Touche Éclat Blur Primer. So this is just like a smaller size of it. I think it was like a 100 point perk at Sephora. But I want to grab this one out because I just have a little bit left. It's kind of a thicker primer, so you don't need a ton at one time. But I'm like, girlfriend, like you can try to use this up, okay? I like the primer. I think that it's nice. It's not an absolute favorite of mine, but it was fun to be able to try out, especially, you know, as like a, you know, free bonus or whatever to your order. So that's gonna be my primer. For my foundation, I grabbed another one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Light Wonder Youth Boosting Perfect Skin Foundation. This is one of my favorite foundations for the summer. It's again really nice and lightweight, more of that light to medium coverage, which I really do appreciate in the summer, and it has more of just a really natural finish to the skin, which I appreciate. I have the shade 5 Medium, so really like this one from Charlotte. I tend to wear it quite a bit in the summer, so I thought it would be a good addition to my Shop My Stash bag. And then for my concealer, I decided to choose this one from Colourpop. This is the No Filter Concealer. I've talked about this quite a bit on my channel, that it's just not been a favorite concealer of mine. I didn't really get the hype around it. So many people love this one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try it again and just try it really consistently throughout the month and see what I think. I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? I just never really loved it, but we're gonna go ahead and give it another try throughout July. And then I thought I would pair that with my Colourpop No Filter setting powder. I know I've used the loose powder in one of my Shop My Stashes, but I also have the loose powder in translucent, so that is going to pair with my Colourpop concealer. I also wanted to pull out this powder, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this too. This is from Hourglass. So this is a little mini of the Ambient Lighting Powder in Dim Light. I know I see a lot of reviews of people saying like, reviews are bad because you don't know how to use this product, or so many people don't know how to use this product. This is how you use this product. And I'm like, I feel like that's kind of what I fall into. I know that this is supposed to be more of like a finishing powder, so not like a setting powder or a foundation powder or something like that, but more of like a finishing powder. As you're done, you're supposed to kind of dust that on. But I feel like I've always been kind of intimidated by that because that's not a step I normally do. I just do, you know, I set my concealer, I set my foundation, that's it. But I really want to try because this has just been sitting in my powders for so long. I think I've used it like maybe twice, and I think both times have been on camera and people are like, you're using it wrong. And I'm like, I'm so confused. So I would love to know your thoughts on these powders from Hourglass and what you think. Again, mine is in Dim Light, so I was just gonna try that feature of like, once I'm done putting it on my face, but we'll see. And if it's like, if I continue not to use it, why am I keeping it in my collection? So I decided July is gonna be the month that we have to make a decision on that Hourglass powder. For my bronzer, I have this one here from Urban Decay. This is the Beached Bronzer in Sunkissed. I actually quite like this as a summertime bronzer because it has almost like a little bit of like red to it, but not like too much, but it's kind of like a cool shade. It can almost give you that effect of like a very light sunburn, like not too much, but it's kind of weird in the summertime. I lean towards bronzers that kind of had like a red or a pink tinge to them that makes it look like you've been out in the sun kind of thing. And that's what I get from this Urban Decay bronzer. So thought it would be a fun one to pull out. This one is more of a matte bronzer, but thought it could be fun for July. For my blush, I have this one from Essence. This is the Silky Touch blush, and this is in Baby Doll. I have not worn this blush in the longest time. I don't mind the color. I think that it's okay, but for whatever reason, I just didn't go into these a lot, so that's why I wanted to pull it into July. And if I use it and I don't like fall back in love with it, I think that I should probably just go on to declutter it. I know these are super affordable from Essence, but we'll see. Again, July is the time that we're gonna make some of these hard decisions, okay? And then for my highlights, I'm really excited. I'm gonna pull this one in from CoverGirl. This is the True Blend Super Stunner palette, and this palette really is quite beautiful. All three highlights are so stunning, so blinding, like sometimes a little bit like too intense if you don't want like a well bam highlight. I like to use a fluffy brush with these versus a dense brush just to kind of almost like take it down a notch because they are so intense. It's CoverGirl, it's more affordable. I actually misplaced this one in my move and I was really quite bummed about it, but I eventually found it, so that's why I thought it would be fun to pull into my Shop My Stash because I haven't used it in so long because it was misplaced as we were moving to a new city. So I have a few different highlight options in there. And then for my eyeshadow palette, I'm really excited. I'm going to pull in from Violet Voss. This is the Flamingo palette. So I got this palette last summer, and it's just such a fun summer, like warm weather palette. Isn't this just like a good time? I thought this would be perfect for the month of July. You have so many fun shades in here, so many bright shades. I just think it's going to be a really fun one to use. Blues, purples, we got some yellows in here. Is anyone surprised that I have yellow nails? Because I thought my nail lady was going to fall over in shock when I was like, I'm thinking yellow, because I'm usually like pink, beige, brown, nude. She was like, yellow, what? Yes, this is so exciting. So we did it. So let me know what you think about the nails. But I thought this would be a really fun palette to try to use a bunch in the month of July. And then for my eyeliner, I have this one from Marc Jacobs. I feel like I haven't used a Marc Jacobs eyeliner in such a long time. Do you guys remember when these had so much hype on YouTube? These are the Highliner Gel Eye Crayons. So many people were talking about these, myself included. They're like $25 for an eyeliner, and I feel like as time has gone on, I found other eyeliners that I like that are even more affordable, but they do have some really nice eyeliners. Oh, I felt like I couldn't open it, and oh no, oh no, oh no. That's not good. Maybe we're not going to be able to use this one. Oh, how sad is that? I feel like this is what you get when you don't use an eyeliner for a while. So you can just twist it up. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be fine. So I'm just going to have to twist it up and kind of buff it out a little bit in order to get it. But oh, okay. I think that might be a sign that I've had this one in my collection for a while, and maybe I'll just try to use it as much as I can in July, but this one might have to be said goodbye to. We'll see how it goes throughout July. But I just thought it was a really fun kind of like this blue teal color. I thought it was really neat, so I'm going to try to twist it back down, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. Oh, that's so sad. This one is in the shade Odyssey. Again, I just thought it could be fun if I do something kind of more neutral on the eyes, to put a pop of blue on the bottom. Could be a good time. So that's going to be my eyeliner. For my mascara, so I grabbed out the Urban Decay Perversion mascara. I just have a little mini here. I know it's been open for a while, so I thought I could use this one up, but I also really wanted to pair it with this one here. This is from Lancome. This is the Booster XL, so it's a mascara primer. I've heard so many people say great things about this, and the Urban Decay Perversion, I really like it, but sometimes I get a little bit of smudging on my lower lash line, and I know people say if you use a primer, it helps with the transfer. So I want to pair it with that and see how it goes throughout the month and see if I notice a difference with this. Have you guys tried this? I actually haven't, but I did get it recently sent to me, and it was in my box of like makeup to try, and I was like, you know what, I feel like this is a really good time to pull it in and see if it works, get a review on it, let you know what I think. So that's going to be my little combo throughout the month. So for my brow pencil, I don't have a ton of different brow pencils, and as I was looking through them, I'm pretty sure I've included every single brow pencil that I own in a Shop My Stash. When I find brow pencils I really like, I'll repurchase them and just kind of continually use the same ones over and over again. So when I was looking through them, I was like, I don't really know which ones I should put in here, but I'm just going to do my Benefit Precisely My Brow. I feel like since I was just using the Karity, which is more of like the goof proof style, just a little bit larger, I was really wanting to do something that was a little bit more on the precise side, and I love my Benefit Precisely My Brow. I just think that it's really easy to use. I have the shade 3, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this one throughout the month. Just a favorite of mine that I know that I love, but I wasn't really sure what else to include. And then for my setting spray, I'm going to use this one from MAC. This is one of the Fix Plus sprays, but this is the Fix Plus Matte. This came out last summer, I believe. Now, I've actually reviewed this on my channel, and I said that I didn't love it. I felt like when I would apply it after makeup, it would almost be like too thick. Like I felt like it was kind of disturbing my makeup, so I didn't love that part of it. I've really just been using this to get my brushes damp. If I don't love a setting spray that I've gotten, I typically will kind of like downgrade it to just like wet my brushes. But I just had someone comment recently and say that she really liked this as more of like a primer spray. So I'm going to try it for that reason and see what I think. I'd love to know if you guys have tried it like that. I didn't even think to use it as a primer spray, but I thought it would be a good one again to pull into July and see if I like it that way. If I do, it's going to be kind of sad because I'm like really far down on this one now, but we're going to go ahead and see if that works. So that's my setting spray from MAC. And then I'm just going to finish off with my lip products. I have 4 again this month. So my lip liner, I have this one from Ofra. This is the Silk Lip Liner. It's just a really nice, like very pink lip liner. I guess I can do a swatch here. Just like a really nice kind of like pinky nude lip liner. I have been really liking Ofra lip liners. I was like addicted to spicy for a while, so I thought I could switch it up and go with Silk. But then I thought it could be a nice addition with my gloss that I chose out. This is from Becca. This is the Glow Gloss in Opal. I just think this is a really pretty lip gloss, and again, I thought those two would pair really nicely because typically if I'm using a gloss, I like to use a lip liner underneath. So that is the combo I chose for that. And then I also have this one here from Charlotte Tilbury. I think because I just did a bunch of swatches on Charlotte Tilbury, I kind of had her in mind when I was looking through my collection. But this is in Sexy Lips. And this is a really interesting formula because it's kind of more of like a gloss stick. So again, summer kind of screams a little bit more like effortless to me. So I kind of stayed away from liquid lipsticks this month, which is kind of shocking to me. But this is a really nice, you know, kind of just very glossy, but you still have, you know, some color to it as well. So it's like a little bit more of an oomph than the Becca. I could still wear a lip liner with this, but I could wear it by its own too. And it's just a nice hint of glossy color for the lips. That is from Charlotte Tilbury. And then I also chose out from Dose of Colors. This was in collaboration with Katie and Desi, and this one is in My Main. So this one here is the swatch of My Main. So this is a little bit more nude, and I believe this was their Velvet lip formula. So it's not as like dry as a liquid lipstick, but it's not quite a lip gloss either, so it's kind of more of in that like middle realm, like more of like a satiny finish type lipstick. But again, I thought this could be just like fun different options throughout the month of July. So that is My Main from Dose of Colors. And after that, that is everything that I have in my July bag for my Shop My Stash project. Again, make sure to check back tomorrow. I'll have a get ready with me using a bunch of these products that I just showed you. I'd love to hear what you thought about my recap for June and also my choices for July. I hope that you guys have an amazing month. Something very exciting is happening for me in July. Can't wait to share that with you. But other than that, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.